There is no marking scheme. So it's just your
Okay.
perspective. Yes, yes, John.
Thank you so much. So I think inclusion is just allowing or giving everyone an opportunity to participate and to contribute in a given sector or yeah.
Ah, all right. Okay, okay, John. Uh-huh. 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 The rest of the team, what do you think it's inclusion? What's inclusion? What is inclusion, by the way? Some of these things seem so easy to talk about, but when it comes to like define, it becomes not easy at all. Yes, what's inclusion?
Mwalimu Daktari Emmanuel,
Yeah.
I think I've ever dealt with the word inclusion in disability
Mm-hmm.
inclusion or
Mm-hmm.
inclusivity. Like there's even an organization called Disability Inclusion,
Mm.
and in for the little definition that I came to understand is integrating matters for
Mm-hmm.
this case. Okay, for the other case, disability inclusion, it was mainstreaming or bringing in matters disability
Yeah.
across all sectors or across all developmental aspects in finance, inclusion of persons with disability in matters finance planning, matters disability in healthcare, making it accessible, matters disability in education, making education accessible to persons with disability, matters PWD, and just streamline, making sure that it is integrated within many other aspects. So
All right.
even in this one, I think it's the same, whereby we can say AI, making it part and parcel of everyday activities that we are in or we are
Yeah.
doing.
All right, Rhoda. Thank you so much. I'd like to know all of us who are in the call. So maybe if it's your first time to join us, welcome to uh, Alliance for AI. We call Future Makers Connect. This is an initiative by the Alliance for AI and now brought to you by Beyond Data ICT here so that we can be able to have a conversation in regards to AI. We usually have bi-weekly discussions. This is not the first one. We have previous ones. You can check recordings on the Beyond Data ICT YouTube. We usually have those like AI vision, AI in agriculture, AI in healthcare. We have had all those discussions before. So you can always check. However, you can introduce yourself in the chat section. Tell us maybe where you are joining us from. And this is usually open call, no specific people are supposed to answer. So if you feel you have something, you'll be able to come in. So let me bring you to the session now. Um, how to introduce inclusion in AI? This means building AI that works for everyone. Building AI that works for everyone. It's not for AI builders to do that, even for the AI users as well. So imagine this. You apply for a job, your qualifications are excellent, you are a good talent, but an AI system rejects your application before human ever sees it. Was the AI fair? That's my question. Was the AI fair? Or should I repeat the question? My question is, and this is the reality, you apply for a job, your qualifications are excellent. You know yourself, you are a good talent. Eh? But an AI system rejects your application before human ever sees it. It happens daily. So my question is, was the AI fair? Maybe to ask it, who decides whether AI is fair?
Okay, can I say,
Yes,
I can say
Bahati. Uh,
the AI will be fair
mhm,
depending on the prompt it was given or how
mhm,
well it was trained.
mm,
The maybe the unfairness of the AI will come at the point where it won't be able to judge maybe a mistake.
Yeah.
Like a human can judge and say this person unwritten like this, but in reality it can be like this and it's okay. So AI cannot reason. So
Mm.
that's why it will bring the unfairness. But depending on the prompt it was given, that
Yeah.
this person have 3 years of experience, yes or no, yes, proceed to the next, no. The AI won't look the part of no, but this person has 2.5 years of experience and it can also apply. It will only look for 3 years of experience and that is period.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's Bahati. Susan, thank you for your contribution. What are others thinking about this? Uh, what are your thoughts? Because these are things that
Hello,
do
good
happen.
evening. Also,
Good evening,
good evening.
indeed. Yes. Ross?
Uh, okay, I personally think that, well, technology is made by people.
Mm.
So any biases that are in technology or any biases in AI are
Mm.
informed by our own biases as people. That is why also like to piggyback on your inclusion question and sort of well question is that is why like there's the need for inclusion, ndio kila
Yeah.
mtu asiachwe, kila mtu na pia like kila mtu aweze kupeana like their own opinion on how like the AI is impacting them or how the AI is going to be created.
Mm.
Does that even make sense? Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, okay, Rose. Yeah, thank you so much, Rose. Yeah, so and actually, when I was facilitating, we do have some AI literacy programs at Beyond Data ICT Academy, and we usually have like AI literacy and practical skills program. While facilitating such sessions, I usually ask, and because we usually have different AI topics. So, like for example, suppose a software developer designs a system and then an organization goes ahead and deploys the solution to the market and it happens to cause harm. Who becomes responsible? Is it the user? Because remember, even at the end there, you are usually told AI makes mistakes. So who becomes accountable? Anyway, that's a topic of another day. So just food for thought. Yeah, thank you so much, Rose. So again, can AI discriminate? And this goes back to the answer from Ross, because remember, AI is trained from data. Maybe from there we might now be able to introduce like what is inclusive AI. So an inclusive AI means designing AI, like designing artificial intelligence that works fair for everyone, regardless of the gender, the race, ethnicity, disability, language, economic status, geographic location, education level. Okay, so AI should expand opportunities and not create barriers. That's what most of our innovators, especially in Africa and East Africa to be specific, are trying to create data sets that are local data sets in our local languages. Because that is like, yeah, there's no inclusivity in our languages in the AI models. Okay? So what do we need to do? We need to, for us to bridge that gap. That's what is happening to bridge that gap, is to ensure that at least we ensure that even the AI system that we are creating, even for the job applications, they need to have as diverse data sets as possible so that people like expand opportunities and not limit them. So why inclusion matter is that AI influences decisions about even healthcare. Imagine you go to a hospital, they're using AI systems to do your scans and so on. Yeah. So that it can be able to be better and also faster than the other maybe human intervention labs that might take 8 hours for you to get results. But of course, there is still also still human component in this. But when what determines the results? Because results means that AI has been trained on such like scenarios and over time, and so it understands better. But if it doesn't consider your case, then you are excluded from the loop, but still making a decision on your behalf. Same things to employment. Same things happens to loans, even the MSMEs in banks, credit scores. Because someone else has a particular characteristics that are more or less like yours, yeah, it can limit you from accessing the bank loan. Because there's someone actually who has some characteristics like more or less like yours. Same things to education. AI is influencing even justice in the court of law and now in social media. Okay, so if AI excludes people, that means opportunities are lost. Like now in job market, bias is amplified. Trust disappears as well. So where does bias come from? Let me hear from you. Where does bias come from? What do you understand now? Like you need to understand how AI makes decision, because now there is where now where we are heading to. Where does bias come from in AI? Where does bias come from in AI?
Well, hi again.
Hi.
I think I think inherently as human beings we have our
Mm.
we have our biases. Kuna sababu
Mm.
unapenda chakula fulani kuliko hiyo chakula fulani. Like kuna
Yeah.
those biases. So when we extrapolate these biases into, let's say, a data set or an AI system that is created in Europe,
Mm. Mm.
how the data sets they use. I'm sorry, I'm also not like, I'm a software developer. I'm not data
Mm.
scientist. Sorry,
Mm.
I've just been interested in AI data centers and
Yeah.
stuff. That's why.
Mm.
Anyway, so so the data sets that a European could use to train their model, maybe hadi wanatafuta maybe how to trace maybe signs and symptoms of malaria, then
Yeah.
wanaitrain hivyo, then the same like logic ikuje Africa itakuwa na a
Yes.
lot of biases.
Yeah.
And so like yeah, something like that, I
Mm.
think.
Okay. Thank you,
Given,
Rose.
okay, given like some like African Europeans tuanze, we are different people experiencing sort
Yeah.
of different climates, so those factors
Mm.
should, tukitengeneza yetu ya malaria inafaa kuwa na
Mm.
our actual factors, like what we are, our realities actually, like our actual
Yeah.
realities as Africans, as compared to just taking a system from the Europeans and just yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Rose. Yeah. So, do you have someone with an opinion to add to this? Where does AI bias come from?
I, Hello,
Yes,
everyone.
Sibylle.
Yeah, I
Hi.
also think it comes from unpresented people or data, that
Mm.
some just collection of data just from specific group from a sample instead of the
Mm.
whole population. So that now
Mm.
that sample there is something in them, but the whole population you may miss one or two things that affect the population, but is not there in the sample. For
Yeah.
example, if you're doing a study in Mombasa and you just go to Nyali specifically
Mm.
to collect data, you see there is something in Nyali, but maybe there is this Nyali experience or
Mm.
Karama experiences that Nyali people don't experience, or Tuda experiences that they don't experience. So when you miss out them,
Mm.
it becomes a problem. I also think that it's from unpresented data.
It's all right. Yeah. 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 Thank you, Evelyn.
Yes,
Yes,
yep.
John.
I'd also love to concur with Evelyn as well, um,
Mm.
on where she's mentioned about the people who collect data, label it, and also the people who design the model, and also the people who choose its objectives can unintentionally introduce their own assumptions or
Yeah.
preferences. I mean, for example, if people labeling online comments could certainly rate certain languages as less professionals. You see, so
Yeah.
if someone has commented something online and then people label it as less professional, so the AI may learn that as bias and all that. I
Yeah.
also think that um, when 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 the data accurately reflects the society, but society has unfair patterns. Imagine crime data may reflect differences in practices rather than actual crime rates.
Yeah.
So an AI trained on that data could bring about those discrepancies.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Excuse, John, would you expound on your last point, please, about the training? The part about your training umesema tu, and how the biases zinakuwa derived from that.
The the part for the
The crime example umepeana, and how explain tu kidogo, and how tuseme biases could be derived from here.
all right. So now when the society has sorry, I think I have an issue with my connection.
I can hear you, that's fine.
Yes. So I meant, so crime data may reflect differences in policing practices rather
Yeah.
than actual crime rates. An AI trained on that data could bring about discrepancies. I don't know if you've gotten me or.
Okay. Kidogo, let me just write it down.
Okay. All right. Yeah, John. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So basically, AI learns from data. Evelyn, do you have something?
Yeah, I'm going to support John on the
Okay.
basis on people who are actually doing the training. For example, if certain people do the training and choose a certain, for example, if you are choosing about people's color and all that, and people specifically choose a certain type of color when they are training the model on ChatGPT, if it's a ChatGPT and they train, most of them train in a specific way, that's what the AI will view as the correct one. So even when replying or calibrating those answers, it will calibrate to that. It will on what it was trained on. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Okay. Can
Susan.
I say something?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, as for me, for
Mm.
example, when the first time I logged into, let me say, AI or ChatGPT or Gemini, when I asked the ChatGPT or Gemini, who is Susan Mabonga, they didn't know the answer at first. They were going just to peruse maybe through the LinkedIn, Facebook, and gave me that. But as per now, after maybe some 1 or 2 years of using AI, when I just ask the ChatGPT now, who is Susan Mabonga, it will go through the history of what I've been talking to with it and then give me Susan Mabonga is this and this, interested in this,
Yeah.
and mostly do this and this. So for me,
Yeah.
according to me, AI learns with how you use. It can start with being biased, but by the time you continue giving it answers, you can chat. I usually maybe chat with AI sometimes. Naambia, nataka unifanyie hivi. And then at the moment nakupatia answer and you tell it, this answer is wrong. I need the answer in this direction. Then when next time you ask AI the story, it will give you the answer that you said it was right, not the one that you said it was wrong. So that.
I see John is agreeing with you actually, absolutely. And actually that's what usually happens in most cases. Yes, John.
Okay. Are we just talking about AI models or also AI agents? because there's also an issue with the AI agents mostly. I mean, if
Yeah.
if you've allocated it to perform a given task,
Task.
say for example to complete a transaction or a payment, sometimes they usually complete without necessarily having to confirm from you if you want it completed. So we also have an
Yeah.
issue with agents, not only the models as well.
Yeah. Okay, John. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is a very nice topic, and actually I like such like topics, and I usually also had some other topics like on data protection. Yeah, and because if we don't talk about these issues, we will always end up in a crisis. So AI learns from data. Okay, so if the data contains bias, what John was saying, AI will learn from bias, and AI will repeat the bias. Okay, so because you'll again be learning from the bias. So bias affect millions. For example, the hiring algorithms that we were talking about, facial recognition, voice assistance as well, even credit scores that we were talking about now, where there is a particular algorithm that was trained with someone who is more or less like you, but it's not you. Doesn't mean that maybe you can repay your loan. Unfortunately, maybe someone has some similarities with you. It becomes maybe now bias in that regard because now it's not actually the true picture of you, and healthcare diagnostics as well. So AI is only as fair as the data and the people behind it. That's actually a reflection. The people and the data that are behind the AI. Because at some point, all these AIs are built actually by the human. And they know that this is bias and this is not, and so on. And actually they keep it on going. I'll take a scenario. For instance, for me, I do some deployments of some agri-tech and blue tech solutions. In these areas, you need localization. You have something called localization. That's part of inclusion. Because if you don't localize and you use pre-trained models, this means these are models that are trained somewhere else. And now you want these models to work in your African farm. Yeah. You expect these models to predict the type of soil and so on, and you want this type of pre-trained AI to detect certain diseases and ways for you to combat them. So that brings us an issue of Africa's scarcity in data. Africa doesn't have scarcity in data. What we have limited is the ways in which we can collect this data. We have a lot of we have even a board, an association of data annotators, where we can be able to data labelers. Okay, collect data, African local data sets. Even we have those who are transcribing and actually building up local language like Luo, Luya, Kikuyu. All those languages are being built into such a way that it can be used to train a model. So that now, when you want to engage your local people, there's no barrier. Even language is part of barriers we've had. Okay? So the same thing. For instance, some examples. I don't know if this has ever happened, maybe for you, maybe to you or someone else. Facial recognition systems performing well on light skin tones. I don't know I'm light skin or not because I haven't experienced this, but might struggle on the dark skin tones. Anyway, I don't know if this is too personal. I don't know if you have come across such, or maybe, but AI recruitment, AI favor male applicants because it learns from years of male-dominated hiring data. Is this true? Can I hear from ladies? What do you think? Remember, these AI systems are trained on data, and we have seen some of the things that actually raise concern. Things like now gender bias, disability bias, because there are very minimal data sets on disability. They tend not to be to be given priority in these areas, because these smart systems, they don't even ask about even the disability unless this organization is actually intentional. So I don't know what are your takes on that. This, especially this one, recruitment of AI favoring male applicants. Yeah, I wonder. I would like to hear from you. And then now we have chatbot. Chatbot cannot understand local African names or accents. Yeah, if you try to put even in Gemini or Google, just the open source models to pronounce for you a particular name, even your local name, the one from the rural your local name from the rural village, it will be like Mabanga. So it sounds crazy anyway, but such like issues do happen. And how will these systems be improved? So how would these systems be improved? So so how do we build now the inclusive in the AI? So we need like 5 principles of building this. We need diverse data sets. We need diverse data sets. That's why we are trying, in the initiatives that we are trying to come up with, to sensitize also on natural language processing. That is more into the natural language processing, where we are trying to set up our local data sets, even for agriculture, setting up even the local data sets, even for healthcare, so that we can use our own local data sets to train our own local models. But how enough? Which data is enough? Because data is not always enough. So as mentioned, we need to build AI systems that can be able to learn as we go. Learn as we go. You personalize as we go. We have this technology we use, for instance, in machine learning, called the reinforcement learning, where it's just like a kid. When a kid makes a mistake, you cane, or you warn the kid. If he does a good job, you can clap for the kid. So the kid knows that this is good and this is bad. The same way happens with AI, learning from the environment, learning from the deployment. Okay, so that can also be one of the use cases, as you have also mentioned from as you have mentioned from from this from also I heard from Bahati. Yeah, so from history, actually AI tends to learn from you, from what you do. It learns your habit, it learns the kind of niche. Actually, it even understands your specialization much better and what you do always. And so this is very, very important for you. It can even help you be able to even know how you can build your own portfolio over time. So regular bias testing, very important to try to test our systems or our models with diverse use cases to ensure that we have enough inclusivity in these outputs that we get from AI as well. Human oversight, as always, we need always human. Even AI agents can make mistakes. Yeah, so you need always to have a human intervention in this space, so that when decision is being made that is not wrong, there is always easier and faster way of counter checking the harm, and also be able to counter attack, okay, the harm, so that doesn't escalate the issue beyond. We have other types of harm that actually don't allow such circumstances. So especially with the critical areas like healthcare, so there's no room for mistake. So you need always to ensure that we have the best of the best when we are using this. So continuous feedback is very, very important. So technology should just reflect the diversity of the people it serves. That's the same things that I even wrote in my article on AI for Africa. Okay, and the real power of AI for Africa is the AI that is built with the context, and that's what now we are talking about, the inclusivity, because you can't build AI somewhere else and expect it to work for us. And I usually get such like issues when I try to also generate images from AI, and I try to ask it to generate some images of me when I'm in my cultural, my deep cultural dress. Unfortunately, it fails at the immediate prompt. So, but over time, it's already also getting exposed to these data sets. It will refine over time. When you look at where ChatGPT, for instance, the public model started, even in generating images, isn't the same image that you can see the image we see here. We didn't edit this image at all. This image was generated by ChatGPT, and there is no any other edits that we did to this image. But before that, it was very weak in generating. It was very vague. It wasn't better. But as it goes, it's learning and learning and learning. So inclusion is actually everyone's responsibility, and and many people think only developers build AI. So maybe I don't know. What are ways do you think we can be able, all of us, has a role to play in this? What is your role in inclusion? Maybe I would like to hear from you now. What's your role in this inclusion? Yeah, so inclusion is for everyone's responsibility. Many think actually AI is only for developers to build AI. So what's your role in this inclusion? What?
Can I go
Mhm.
first?
Yes, yes.
And also, tafadhali msitoke chat. I have like niko na a train of thought na sitaki kukua msiende before nimalizie.
Okay.
Well, it's a controversial sort of take.
Mm.
Okay. Nisha sema mimi, I'm not a data scientist by profession.
Yeah.
I'm just a developer.
Mm.
So lately I've had an interest in data centers.
Yeah.
I've been reading a book by someone called Karen Howe
Mm.
about the empire of AI. So
Mm.
personally, again, msitoke, hii ni a very controversial take, and I also want to hear your inputs as data scientist.
Mm.
Niulize kwenye tumefika as Africa, like, don't you
Mm.
think like it's time maybe tuko na like infrastructure yetu,
Mm.
like a complete infrastructure from how the data centers are set, like
Mm.
the LLMs, hizo vitu zote
Mm.
juu at the moment wadau hadi like tukiendelea tu venye tunaendelea. Okay, another thing ni okay, technology na Africa, then I also want to, I'm also like a Pan-Africanist, so bear with
Yeah.
me please, just bear with me.
Yes.
So like already like sahi Africa, we are over 1 billion people. We can have like
Mm.
capacity to sort of create our own things zenye haziko juu. I kid you not, we are just sisi hadi ni kama ukiangalia like Meta, akina ChatGPT, Gemini, sisi ni afterthoughts.
Mm.
We are not
Mm.
even, these products are not even made like basically for us. Like sisi ni tu ni
Yeah.
kama like a complete watu wame, nyinyi nunueni tu ama itawasaidia venye tu, again part of your inclusion tunaongelelea. Then ukiangalia how like hizi data centers zinakuwa set up, then if you extrapolate this effect and this impact to like our African countries, African sort of very sort of very brittle, easy to break nini democracies. Look
Yeah.
at what is happening. Okay, sorry to get like lakini like ebu angalieni, like for lack of a better word tu ni, I think for me technology, how technology has been used, then the sort of the dispensation of AI at the moment, tunakoloniziwa tu a whole other nini, like ni yani tunagotwa tu again like anyway, that is
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
My point in inclusion, like the whole like
Mm.
structure from the base of how like this AI technology is constructed, tutaishindi tu kubaki nyuma. Like no
Yeah.
matter how many policies hapa mbele after a product is created, kama like ChatGPT, no matter how, no, I was also wanted to ask someone, kuna mtu amesema venye biases, I think it was John alitext something, the history of So like, do you? I'm also asking this. So can well, I don't also think so. Like, can AI unlearn bias? Like,
Yeah, I
kama
think
iko na a bias.
that's thing that also needs to be put into consideration during during the architecture of the
Yeah.
development of this AI. The same way we usually do for data privacy.
Yeah.
When we are reporting, for instance, AI harm. When we are reporting AI harm, we have AI systems like during the architecture of developing AI harm systems. We
Yeah.
usually have ability to hide the identities, some personal identification, and so on. So it's also possible, but something that
Yeah.
really requires a lot of verification and a lot of support. But now the best way
And also
to
like
unlearn
intention.
a
I
lot
also
of
think like intention.
yeah, the intention, but of course it requires a lot of data to have
Yeah.
a balanced data set. But this could take time actually, takes time, takes time to do that, to unlearn. So it's not easy, but it always learn from mistake as it goes by. But the mistakes might cause harm actually. So it's not easy,
Yeah.
but at least it's something that is doable.
Mhm. Okay. Oh, I
All
think
right.
that is. Mm,
All right, Rose. Thank you so much. Yeah, so in relation to that, actually, the issues of data centers and for us, what we have done at Atlance for AI, we have built AI based AI cloud based solution in Africa. It's based in Nigeria. You can check out aghcloud.ai. aghcloud.ai. That's a cloud
Sema tu
infrastructure.
tena, sorry. Sema tu tena.
aghcloud
AGH.
aghcloud.ai.
Oh, okay.
aghcloud.ai. So that's an AI based an infrastructure, cloud infrastructure based in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So is actually in full is called Africa GPU Hub. Africa GPU Hub, AGH.
Oh.
So Africa GPU Hub. Okay. So you can check that out. So, but again, we also have some developments that are ongoing, especially in the no code or AI based prompts, and you can be able to generate, especially for development and others. You can actually use your natural language, local language, but still not accommodative in most of the languages. Maybe Swahili, but not really
Oh,
for
yeah.
the
I saw
local.
the Mozilla
Mm,
one.
yeah,
Mozilla
yeah.
have a bit of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just that we are trying, but we are slow. So by the time we will reach where we need to reach, we'll be late, and something else will have moved. So we just need to find a way to at least move faster, so that we don't just become consumers. And that's why we usually have
Yeah,
these
yeah,
AI
yeah.
discussions. That's why we usually have these AI discussions, so that we can act as AI, can act as eye openers, and if possible, be able to be gathering this information, and also the help, maybe one way or another, as we have these recordings, we might present these recordings in some policies, so that they can actually have a look at some of the things that we usually discuss. So it's not a mere discussion that we are here, but at least it's something that we can be able to take it forward after some time, so that we can be able to take action. And these issues are the same
Yeah.
issues that need to reach the global stage, and we look forward to ensure that at least that is put into consideration. So in reality, even engineers, data scientists, designers, policymakers, educators, business leaders, community, everyone actually has a role to play in this regard. So up to there, before I wrap up, is there any submissions from the team? What you think is remaining in relation to introducing inclusion in AI? I have mentioned to you that at Beyond Data ICT we deploy some agri-tech and also blue-tech solutions, which actually need local context, localization. And so when you even try use pre-trained models, They do not have that better accuracy, and accuracy alone is not enough. The best performing solution that can serve Africa is actually the one that causes an impact on Africans. Even as developers, designers, data scientists, we might look at accuracy, this is 99%, but can it actually work on our
Yeah.
problems we face in our local environments? So those are things that we are doing. And actually, like last year, we had an event called the Datathon in Mombasa 2025. We were advocating for data awareness because Africa has enormous amount of data, only that the data is segregated. The data is segregated. The data, you can't get it when you need it most. So it becomes really challenging, difficult for you to even innovate. And you end up actually using technologies like now geospatial technologies, satellite-based data sets, but to ensure effectiveness and also real time, we have now to introduce technologies like IoT, Internet of Things, to gather direct data from our farms, also with robotics now, so that you can be able to collect this direct data from the farms and now use this data now for decision making. Like for instance, I can give you a scenario before I give you an opportunity to also contribute before I finalize. For instance, in Lake Victoria, we usually have a challenge of upwelling. Upwelling is a scenario that happens that fish die at a certain. There is a pattern actually. Some certain months, there's like a concentration, water concentration parameters changes, and maybe now ammonia has a lot of concentration, and now the water turns dark, and the wild fish also die, but others usually try to escape. And then now we have the fish in the cage. We have actually thousands of farmers farming fish in the Lake Victoria. So when this happens, there's a lot of fish loss. Those are things that Beyond Data ICT is trying to close. The issue of now having enough data to train models that can also support in early warning systems. Now we have to leverage on the expensive technologies like now the IoT. Yeah, and actually John also comes from that side. Yeah, so yeah, it's very nice. So you realize that actually these things become they are really challenges. If we can close these gaps with now the solutions and innovation, it actually works for our people. That's when we will say that this actually is working for our people and not just using them as hype. So those are the gaps we are trying to close. That's why we migrated from just offering the academy, we are training people on data science, on data analytics, on AI, but now to deployment of solutions that can help us close the gaps we have in our societies. So we'll be having Datathon Pwani 2026. If you know developers, innovators who have solutions in smart cities or in ocean conservation, we look forward to having them in the innovation challenge. We have an innovation challenge where they can submit an innovation they have. We will have them pitch physically to a panel of judges, get advice, and maybe see how we can be able to reach out to partners to help them commercialize their innovation. For those that aren't there, they'll also get an opportunity to engage in a hackathon, a data science related hackathon. However, people can develop a data-driven solution like now interface where our users can interact with. Now we'll need developers, form teams, and be able to develop actually solutions that can and that actually matter for our people. So this will be happening in October. If you are in for this, please stay in touch with all of us so that we can be able to know when registration is opening soon. So you can be able to see how that is going to be. It's going to be 2 days. However, you'll have some more interesting things, also including visit to Kemfree, where you can be able to see what the research institute is doing there in the matters of fisheries, and also some other just community night, also networking for Beyond Data community. And also we'll have an opportunity to also do some cycling, beach cleanups, so that we can also amplify these voices. Although the team is data science and AI for smart cities and ocean conservation, but we welcome all of us who are in this. scope. So I'll be sharing the website maybe in the course of this week so that we can be able to share it out and invite people to take part into this. So I welcome you. If you have any final remarks, let me start with Rose, and then I'll go to John, and then Beryl, and then we wrap up. Okay, welcome, Rose.
Well, it's just a question about the gap that we are having, lack of data in Africa. Do we have like sort of an infrastructure collection of your data? I'm appear
Yes,
it's
yes.
something maybe I'm just putting out there for us to
Yes.
think about.
So we have some steps that we have made in this space. We have some research institutes and also Institute of Higher Learning. For instance, Maseno University, it has an AI hub where it is actually centralizing natural language processing local datasets. In Uganda, we have Makerere University that is centralizing local datasets, especially in agricultural related perspective. Also, we have some use cases in other countries like also Nigeria, but now it's not centralized for all of Africa, so that we can have all centralized data set for Africa. So it's kind of country based. But of course, as we move, we can always engage and push our governmental institutions to help us set up this collective, because some of these things become political. It becomes difficult to centralize such like data sets, and so it might raise a lot of concern if it's not involving governments and also some strategic partnerships. Yes, Rose.
Thank you, and also thank you for having me here today.
Okay, thank
Those
you,
are my
Rose.
final remarks.
Okay, John. John, you're on mute.
Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So I think if there's one thing I hope we can all walk away with, is that
Yeah.
inclusion in AI isn't something we add at the end, like finishing touch. I think it has to be how we build from day one. I mean, who is in the room designing the systems, whose data we're training on, and whose reality we're actually solving for. So the bias we're trying to reduce doesn't come from the machines. It actually comes
Yeah.
from us, from the
From
gaps.
people and data.
Yeah, for sure. From the gaps in who gets to participate in building this technology. So the real work starts with opening more doors, mentoring
Yeah.
more builders, and making sure the people affected by these systems are also the ones that are shaping them.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Beyond Data and Alliance for AI, for this wonderful space and presentation for us to
Yeah.
take together.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John, so much. Thank you so much, John. John is actually chapter lead for Alliance for AI, Technical Vice of Mombasa. So thank you, John. Beryl. Okay, Beryl dropped from the call. Okay, so as just John wrapped up, so AI is created by people. AI learns from the data. Data creates biased AI. Okay.
Sisi
Uh,
wenyewe, our own biases.
So inclusive AI benefits everyone. Ethical AI is not only about technology, it's about people. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining this discussion. We usually have them bi-weekly. So if you can tag along with your friend in the coming discussions. If you joined via the Alliance for AI application, please visit the application and check your attendance. If you didn't, please create an account so that next time you can check your attendance in the platform. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.